What's up YouTube, it is SpecialK75 here today. We're playing Sakura Succubus 9 and we are back. So now later that night. Oh, this is all hopeless. I'm so stupid. I already knew that, of course. This isn't exactly a revelation, but I feel like it's being hammered home with every passing moment. Ali sighs wanly as she sits on her bed, cross-legged. Since she's changed out of her casual attire and she's dressed in the garb of the succubus, her horns are protruding from her scalp, and from her back emerges a pair of bat-like wings. This is pretty standard as far as the members of my succubus harem go. They have assumed their human forms during their day-to-day lives to better blend in with the rest of us regular people. Not that they do a good job at last. I guess given the flashy nature of their careers, Ayu and Kazu stand out regardless of whether they have wings and tails or not, given they're both pretty famous. I know Ayu finds it hard to go outside without being mobbed, especially when her more zealous fans spot her, but if she went out wearing her skin-tight succubus clothes, I think she'd have an even tougher time. Putting aside the supposed impossibility of people having wings, horns, and tails and outfits my succubus companions wear are rather skimpy. I don't think they're sorts of clothes you can get away with wearing in public. It does take a fair bit of magic energy, however, for succubi to maintain their disguises, so they let their fat kid drop during quiet moments like this. I'm not surprised to see Ali's wings out. Why do I always make such an idiot out myself? At this point, it's like it's a compulsion. Maybe I have some sort of a fetish for being looked down upon? Am I actually a huge deviant? But it's less common for the members of my succubus harem to beat themselves up like this. In fact, I think Alice is the only member of my harem who's so hard on herself. I hope I'll be able to comfort her. It's alright, Alice. You only spilled a small bit of soup. There was no harm done. The tablecloth only got a little dirty, and Elizabeth said the tablecloths were clean every single night regardless. You haven't given the maids any extra work. And even if you have, it's their job to clean up after other people's messes. It's why they get paid. You've not done anything to feel bad about. I can't help but feel bad though. I made myself look like such a fool, and in front of a princess, no less. How many people can say they spill soup all over themselves in front of royal? Huh? It can't be that many people. I guess not, no. The opportunity doesn't really come up. But Stefania isn't just some princess. She's not stuck up or arrogant at all. I mean, I think Ayu's more stuck up than she is. That's right, Ayu is way more maintenance than Steffi, and you get along with her alright. If you can handle Ayu's mood swings, then deal with Steffi's should be a piece of cake. It's not like you even have to deal with her. Not really, she's a really nice girl, you know. I know, she was very kind to me, really though. I made myself look so foolish. She didn't laugh at me, and she didn't deride me. She seems more concerned if I was alright than the tablecloth. Well, yeah, I think you spilled more than that soup on yourself than you did anywhere else. It was less messy than it could have been, since your lap was in the way. But that makes me feel even worse about this whole thing. Lady Stefania has been nothing but polite, kind and accommodating since I stepped foot into the palace, but that doesn't seem right. When I think about the way I treated her, Ali shudders. She must have been having a flashback to the first encounter with Stefania when she kidnapped her, then tied her up in a disused warehouse to catch my attention. I was horrible to her. I can't believe she's being so kind to me after everything I did. I don't think I deserve it. Then what would you prefer? You don't want Stefania to punish you, do you? Punishment you mean like the stuff Marina does to Hazel? I don't know what precisely Marina does to Hazel. And based on your tone of voice, I don't want to know. I think I'd be happier being ignorant, but at least sighs. Maybe it would be a little easier if she bore some sort of grudge about what I did. It might make me feel like, I don't know, like I'm making amends? I still don't think I've apologized enough. Lady Stefania said everything was alright, but how can it be? She should want to spit on me at the very least and have me thrown into the dungeon at worst. Hey. Spit, that's no way. No way she was gonna go that far and start spinning on, like, no, there's no way. Yeah. But it's like she doesn't bear a grudge at all. I don't get it. How can any one person be that nice? Well, Steffi is pretty sweet. I don't think she's the type to get mad at people. If you want to make an enemy, you better off getting on Ayu's bad side. Tell her that her selfie looks unflattering, or she's too old to wear so much pink, or that you like Chizuru singing more than hers. She'll never forgive you for that. Oh, those are some pretty hardcore suggestions. I think I'd rather walk into a lion's den than rob Ayu on purpose. I know, right? For somebody so cute, she sure is scary. I'm getting shivers myself just thinking about it. I don't want to rob up anybody though. I want to repent for all the ill I've done and tried to better myself. But how can I when Lady Stephania won't even hold me accountable? I'm glad she's being so kind, but I don't think I deserve it. I don't deserve any of this. I'm a loser, and I'm afraid I'll keep on being a loser. What happened at dinner proves it. I'm not fit to be around other people. Hey, Ali. Cosmo's never one to let other people mope sidles over to Alice. She approaches her from behind, her succubus tail twitching. Then she throws her arms around Alice's middle in the tight of an embrace. Elise jumps and glances behind her shoulders at Cosmos, and her face flushed. What are you doing, Cosmos? Nothing really. I'm just trying to cheer you up. Don't be so down. I'm sure everything will be alright. You just need to try and think positive. Positive, huh? Elise doesn't look particularly convinced by Cosmo's declaration, and for good reason. Elise and positive don't really belong in the same sentence unless you want to say that. Elise is positively pessimistic. I can't help but worry about Elise, but it's nice to know that I'm not the only one. Cosmos is trying to look out for her in her own airheaded way, and Elise seems to appreciate it. She bites her lower lip, looking unsure of herself. Then slowly but surely a small smile captures her lips. Right, well, I'm not sure if I'm the most positive person out there, she's telling me, but I wouldn't want to make you worry, or Hiroki for that matter. I don't want to ruin your trip to Astoria either, not when you've been looking forward to it so much. It would seem unfair to me to drag the mood down with all my moping, so I'll try to do my best to be more optimistic. How does that sound? That sounds perfect. You've got this, Ali. Staying at a place must be overwhelming, but remember, you're not alone. You're with me, and you're with Hiroki too, isn't that right? Well, of course. If you ever need a shoulder to cry on or lean on, then I'm here. I'm just staying down the hall, which is still quite ways away since this palace is so huge, but you should be able to find me easily enough. If you need somebody to talk to, you can always knock on my door. I'll never turn you away. There, you see, there's nobody kinder than my boyfriend. That's the reason we're all so crazy about him. So long as Hiroki's on your side, you have nothing to worry about. Between the two of us, I'm sure we'll be able to ease all of your anxieties. Speaking of which, Cosmos smiles coyly, then gives Alice another squeeze. I've just had a great idea. You have? You have? That's right. I think the three of us ought to take this chance to get cozy. It should help take your mind off of your concerns, Ali. And this bed is really nice and soft. It seemed a shame not to use it while we have it. Don't you want to break it in? We might not get another chance. Huh? Elise stares at Cosmos, her face flushed. Are you really suggesting that we, Why, yes. That's exactly why I'm suggesting. We are Succubus after all. It's possible for us to live on nothing but an admiration for a few amorous encounters here and there certainly won't go amiss. Wouldn't you agree, Hiroki? I don't know about you, but I think that sounds like a very productive way to spend the night indeed. Well, it sure is one way. Later that night, the following morning, Mr. Ogawasawa, shake, Mr. Ogawasawa, it's time to wake up. As your humble devoted maid, I have come here to rose you. Shake, shake. Please rise from your bed. I know the sheets are comfortable, and it is cold outside, but it is slovenly to spend too much of your time lolling about. I am sure there's much more of the story you wish to explore than your bed inside the palace. Shake, shake. I can feel the pressure about my shoulders and fingers sinking into my skin. Somebody's shaking me. Who could it be? Mr. Ogawasawa? Well, based on their voice, they sound like an attractive woman. I guess that's a nice way to start the day, if nothing else. But this would hardly be the first time I've been woken up by an attractive woman. At this point, my life is nothing special. Mr. Ogawasawa? Huh? Maybe I'm getting jaded. Am I taking my harem for granted? This might be why my fellow coworkers don't like me. Have I been acting like a spoiled brat? Mr. Ogawasawa? Well, whatever. I have distinct memories of being shaken out of bed by Hazel in the early hours of the morning to go jogging. These are painful memories, however, ones that I'd rather forget. And I have memories too of being jolted into the wakefulness by a foot to the face, courtesy of Yui. I think that led to some of the pretty painful moments too. Mr. Ogawasawa, please, you simply must roast yourself. It is unseemly, you know, to drool all over your chin at your age. You are not a child, but I don't think this voice belongs to Hazel or Yui. It's a little deeper than theirs, and slightly more mature. When I think of mature, my thoughts typically stray towards Marina, but she didn't come to a story with me this time. That must mean... Slowly I crack my eyelids open. I blink like a newborn trying to disperse the white spots which have begun to flicker in front of my vision to then see her. Uh-oh. Man, she's on top of us. What? I'm being shrouded by a pretty woman with sizable bust. Her hair is silver and it tumbles above her slender shoulders in waves. Her eyes, meanwhile, are narrow, and her lips are pursed in what looks to be distaste. Her fingers are curled around my shoulders, her hands were white as a bone china. Her complexion is pale, which contrasts starkly with her attire, a plain black and white maid's dress. It is, of course, Elizabeth? Good. I'm glad to see that you still recognize me. I suppose you are completely hopeless. Elizabeth draws away from me, her eyes narrowed. It took me such a long time to awake you. Part of me had begun to worry that you might be suffering from some undisclosed medical condition. You aren't feeling sick, aren't you? I don't think so. I'm just a little jet lag. The journey from Japan to Astoria is no joke. My sense of time is all off. Speaking of the time, what time is it anyway? It is 8 in the morning. 8, huh? Astoria is several hours behind Japan. To me, it feels like it should be time to get ready for bed. Here, however, it is time to get up and start a brand new day. I've been through something like this before. Oh, man. The sunlight is pretty bright despite it being rather chilly out. My eyes are starting to sting. I guess I got to wake up then, even though I don't want to. I don't want to disappoint Stefania. Good. I'm glad that you still possess some of your senses overtaxed, though they might be from your travels. Milady has missed you a good deal during the absence. She will be very upset if she cannot spend a bit of your time with you. Sleep can wait. It is for the weak. For the present, Milady's happiness is all which ought to matter. I grin. It's been a while since I last saw Elizabeth, but she hasn't changed at all. Her dedication to Stefania is as fierce as always. So much, so little, it's a little overwhelming. Sometimes I wonder how Stefania copes with Milady, a maid like Elizabeth. I know that Elizabeth is perfectly nice to Stefania. She adores her after all. But if I were Stefania, I'd feel stifled. You sure do love Stefania a lot, don't you? Well, naturally, that should go without saying. Elizabeth sniffs aloofly. What use is there in stating the obvious? You are accomplishing nothing save wasting time. What? Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, that's Hiroki, alright. Another voice pipes up, one which I can tell belongs to Ayu. He's not the brightest bulb in the box. He's always saying things which don't need to be said. Sometimes I wish he just put a sock in it. What? Even when he's half asleep, he grates on my nerves. Why is he so popular? I have no idea. Good morning to you too, Ayu. It's very good to see you too. It's nice of you to come and wake me up with Elizabeth, especially when I'm sure you have a lot of other things to do. But why go through all of that effort, and why are you dressed like that? This doesn't seem very like you. Geez, you think? Good job working that out, genius. I just go ugly, though I don't think she's scowling because of anything I said. Or no, I think she's scowling because of something I said, but I don't think that's the entire reason behind this temper. Ayu even looks more peeved than usual this morning. Interacting with me is only part of it. I think she's more upset because of her unusual attire. Ayu isn't wearing the pastel pink sweater she donned during our flight here, and neither is she wearing her frilly idol getup. But she's more used to wearing those ones. I guess she doesn't like being a maid, huh? She is instead clad in an outfit which isn't so dissimilar to Elizabeth's. She's wearing a fairly classic maid outfit, though her stomach is exposed, the skirt is very short. I wonder what I think about this. I mean, I think she looks adorable. I doesn't seem to agree with this as an assessment. However, if she did, I don't think she'd be grinding her teeth together like that. She's grinding them so hard, in fact, I can hear her from the bed. Darn, if she's not careful, she'll wind up sanding her molars down. Will that have any impact on her singing career? I hope not. Ayu tugs at her skirt disconsolately, her indigo eyes narrowed. This is so ridiculous. I can't believe that I'm wearing something like this. I'm having a pretty hard time believing it too. You don't strike me as the sort of person who likes serving others. I thought you preferred to be served instead. Naturally, I think all of us are like that to a degree. Apart from this weirdo from here, maybe. Ayu shoots a caustic look at the weirdo in question. Elizabeth, meanwhile, looks quite unperturbed. Her expression doesn't even shift. She might find a degree of misogynism having in slavery, but the same doesn't apply to me, not one bit. This isn't like me at all. I did think your getup was pretty uncharacteristic, yeah. So how did you end up dressed like that? You didn't lose a bet, did you? Not exactly. It's kind of embarrassing, but I might have been forced into it. Forced by who? Who do you think? Do you know anybody who's obsessed with the idea of being an ideal maid other than her? Ayu shoots a particular controller's look at Elizabeth, who, as is to be expected, looked completely unmoved. As she doesn't even blink. I should have known, I guess, if anybody in the palace was going to get Ayu to dress up like this, it would be Elizabeth. Elizabeth fancies herself as a maid extraordinaire. She takes her job exceedingly seriously, so much so she practically seems to live in her maid uniform. This has to be done by Cosmos. It's obvious. Straight up, like, it's literally done by Cosmos. To her, it isn't just a uniform, it's almost like a second skin. Elizabeth gets pretty angry, as I recall, when I took her to a maid cafe with Cosmos Stefania. She thought that the maids were just playing at the role without taking it seriously. She elected herself as the head maid, then started whipping the other maids into shape, instructing them on the art of true maidhood. It was pretty impressive, actually, just how invested she got. Did she do the same thing to Ayu? Why would she, though? Is there a reason why you made Ayu dress like that, Elizabeth? Naturally, I don't do these things for fun, you know. Believe me, I know. Some people might regard being a maid as similar to throwing on a cute outfit and dressing people as maid or master, but Elizabeth isn't such a person. She's always been 100% serious when her maid duties are involved. I thought it's prudent to me to teach Ayu a lesson that is all after her conduct at the dinner table yesterday. What lesson? Yes, that is what I wish to know. What is breaking into my bedroom early in the morning, forcing me into this silly outfit, then demanding that I wake Hiroki up with you meant to teach me? Huh? Did that happen to Ayu earlier? Sounds like she had a much rougher morning than I have. It's no wonder she looks so pissed. It's meant to teach you how hard we maids work. don't think I didn't see you last night turning your nose up at us domestic workers. I know that you think of yourself as superior to us, but that will simply not do. It takes hard work and dedication to be a maid, just as it takes hard work and dedication to become an idol. You are not superior to me, and so have no right to look down your nose at me. This profession is one I have labored in for many years. I treat my job with respect, and it deserves. And if you were to live in a palace, then I wish for you to adjust your attitude and treat us maids with a similar degree of respect. I believe that I am owed that. Respect? You? Ayu pulls a face. Are you kidding me? We have been through this already. Elizabeth sighs. Looks like it wasn't by Cosmos. It was pretty much by her forcing her to wear this. I literally thought it was by Cosmos' idea. Well, I do not want to labor the point, but I must insist. Yes, I'm being serious. I do not tell jokes about my profession. Being a maid is, as the kids might say, serious business to me, at least. Well, good. I'm glad you found your calling in life and you're so happy with it. Yada 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 yada. But I'm not a maid. I'm an idol. That's my job description. And as an idol, I'm an exalted being. I exist to be put on a pedestal for other people to worship me. The foolish masses might think that I sing for them, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I sing for myself, so they'll fawn over me. As an idol, people have an obligation to flatter my ego. I can't see the pleasure in flattering other people's people. It sounds demeaning. You think that my profession is demeaning? Elizabeth frowns. Dear me, I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but it seems I was too lenient. What are you talking about? Are you trying to sound unconcerned about? I can hear her voice waver regardless. Is she afraid of Elizabeth? If so, I wouldn't be wholly surprised. Elizabeth does have quite the commanding presence. Sometimes I feel afraid of her myself. She's very assertive. Forget about being a halfway decent maid. I think you need to learn how to be a halfway decent human being. I can see that you consider yourself superior to everybody, but that will simply not do. I know a little bit about idols, but I do know that you would not enjoy the fame and the money you have grown accustomed to it. Not for your fans. You ought to appreciate them more. I do appreciate them. You do? That's news to me. Well, I appreciate their money at least. Isn't that the same thing? Not really. In fact, that makes you sound even worse. Indeed it does. This is such a sorry state of affairs. I have no desire to be cruel, but you leave me a little choice. You are forcing my hand, Miss Ayu. No, Ayu. Elizabeth's eyes narrow. You might be a guest of Milady's, but I will not recognize you as my superior, not when you continue to look down on me, so you have no idea how much grit and determination it takes to be a true maid. And I do not think you understand what it takes to be an idol either. Your conduct is more unsatisfactory, but I have faith in myself, and I believe I can rectify your poor attitude. It will be hard work, but I am sure I will be able to reshape you as a kind, pleasant person in the end. That is my goal. Like I care about your goals. I have a concert I need to be practicing for. I really don't have time to be messing around like this. That is what you think, but I disagree. As an idol, I think you ought to spend more time learning how to make other people happy. You owe your fans that much. And who are you to lecture me, huh? You're a nobody. That is not at all accurate. I'm not nobody. My name is Elizabeth. I am proud, and I am a proud maid to fair Princess Stephania. I adore Milady with all my heart, and I am determined to make her smile. I love Milady as you ought to love your fans, purely without any ulterior motives. That is how a true idol ought to be. Now let me show you how it is done. Oh! I'll give you a lesson in love that you shall not forget anytime soon. Huh? Ayu takes a step back, her hands clasped at her front. Oh, what are you talking about? You will find out presently. Now come, follow my instructions. If you allow me, I am sure I'll be able to reshape you into a person worthy of being an idol. I will smooth out that nasty negative attitude of yours for good. and I will help you become an idol that people will fall in love with all across the land. You sure talking big for a scullery maid. How do you purpose to teach me all these things, Cinderella? How do you think? Elizabeth smiles thinly. We have somebody to practice on right here. My apologies for being arguing by your bedside, Mr. Ogawa-sama. As a maid, it is rather unbecoming of me. Let me make amends by waking you up properly alongside my charming assistant here. She is a new maid, and there is much about this profession she does not know. In many aspects, she is awkward and clumsy. But I hope that you will be able to overlook that. Please, try and forgive her. No matter how she might act, I know that she too wants nothing more than to make you comfortable. My gracious, most wonderful master. Oh boy. Of course. Yo. Why do I have the uncensored version, man? This is crazy. Why are you doing this at me like this? Oh. The fact she gets crazy angry like this is insane. Breakfast later that morning is a surprisingly subdued experience. I assume it would have been livelier given the eccentric personalities of girls assembling Astoria's palace, but apparently not. Ayu isn't present for breakfast at all. She heads off pretty early immediately after waking me up with Elizabeth. She says she has to rehearse for her upcoming concert, and she won't be around very much as a result. She has too much work to do to laze around, unlike you, Hiroki, lay about. Yeah, I don't think Elizabeth attempts to soften my edges. Years of Ayu personality have had much of an impact, but at least she tried. She made a novel attempt to school our favorite twin tails to Cindery, but some people just don't want to change. I mean, it's a bit disappointing, but it's fine though. I mean, I like Ayu the way she is. Ayu, like, that's how she really is all the time. That's fine by me, though. I like Ayu the way she is, its sharp edges and all. I think Ayu's grumpy, pouting ways are pretty cute, actually. It's sweet how easily she gets huffy, and part of me does enjoy pushing her buttons, though I doubt Ayu would be very happy if she knew that. Then again, she's rarely happy about anything. I'm not surprised that Ayu isn't around, but I am surprised to find out that Alice and Cosmos are absent. From what I've gathered, Alice's photo shoot isn't until a few days from now, and Cosmos doesn't even have any work to do. I asked Fumi about this curiously as I slide into my seat at the table, and she answers with a smile. Elise told me earlier that she wanted to do a bit of exploration, but now that has come to Astoria, and she did not want to waste a single moment. From what I've gathered, she had quite the sheltered upbringing, and she's not had much of a chance to see the world. She was too anxious to go on her own. However, so Cosmos agreed to accompany her. The pair of them already set off. Elise seemed rather excited, though privately I think Elise wanted to forego breakfast because she did not want to see Stefania or Elizabeth. I think she's still a bit embarrassed about what happened last night. Hifumi delivers this last part in a whisper, presumably for Stefania's benefit. She probably doesn't want Stefania to overhear this, lest her feelings get hurt. Oh, I see. I nod in response as I reach for a bread roll which is lying in a wicker basket at the center of the table, freshly baked and piping hot. That makes sense. Me and Cosmos might try to cheer up Elise last night after her huge social fox pass with the soup, but try really is the key word here. It can be pretty hard to successfully cheer Elise up once she's gotten into one of her funks. I'm sure she'll get in better shape for the present. It might be for the best if we let her keep her distance from Stefania. I'm sure she'll recover in the time. At least I hope she will. I start to butter my bread roll flat on the knife while Stefania smiles at me. Good morning, Hiroki. It's good to see you, and I hope that you slept well. Oh yes, I slept really well, thank you. It should go without saying, but the palace is a lot nicer than my place back in Tokyo. I can rest more soundly on these beds than I can in my ratty old futon. I'm glad to hear it. Though I think you're being a bit harsh. I rather like staying in your apartment. It may be quite a change from everything I'm used to. I'll bet it did. Stefania and Elizabeth both came to visit me in Japan a few months ago, right at the beginning of the new year. It was very cold, though not as cold as Astoria. And though the heating in my apartment kept chugging along, it was hardly as comfortable as the palace. I felt a bit embarrassed actually having Stefania and Elizabeth sleeping in my cramped teeny tiny room on spare futons. I don't think Elizabeth enjoyed the experience too much. She made every indication that she thought such lodgings were insufficient for a princess. Which, to be fair, they were. Stefania deserved a lot more, though she didn't seem to mind. Staying with you really was a novel experience. It was a bit like having a sleepover. Your lodgings were cramped, but they were also cozy. We were also able to interact with one another. The palace might be luxurious, but I often think it's too large. It can be a bit imposing, but there's been so many empty, unused rooms. And it is very easy to miss one another. Sometimes the palace feels more like a hotel than it does a real home. Too much space can be just as constricting as having too little of it. But oh, Stefania starts then smiles abashedly. Listen to me chattering on as always. I seem to do that a lot when I'm with you, Hiroki. I hope you can forgive me for waffling. With all that yapping she's been doing. It's fine, I have to listen to your waffling. What? Benedict put down yapping instead. You do? Why would he not? You are adorable, milady. I know that I consider myself exceedingly fortunate that I can be with you as often as I am, and I can converse with you on such a regular basis. I am very lucky woman indeed. Well, what's with the face again? This is way back in whatchamacallit, Sakura 6. Or probably 7, like what the heck? Fucking spunk face. I quite agree, you're very charming, Stefania. I couldn't have asked for a better pupil. Oh god. Stefania flushes Killy, her head hanging. I'm really not sure about that. I think you're all flattering me, but the compliments are appreciated, I suppose. Stefania giggles, then takes a sip of her tea. Then she lets the taste of the tea percolate on her tongue for a few moments before she next speaks. So, do you have any plans today, Hiroki? Plans? Now that's a good question. I'd not thought about it. Well, it's not like I have anywhere pressing I need to be. I was planning to hang around with Consul and Elise, but I guess they already head off. Yes, indeed. I did not get a chance to wish them good morning myself, though Ifumi did. She said they were in quite a hurry. I'm not sure what it was they were so excited to see, but never mind that. Stefania smiles sweetly, blissfully unaware of Elise's real intentions. I would offer to spend time with you myself, Hiroki, but I'm actually planning to play Karuta with Ifumi for most of the day. It's been a while since I had a worthy opponent to play against, and I want to make the most of it. Naturally, you would be more than welcome to watch if you want, but I'm unsure just how interesting that would be. That's a good point. Karuta might be a riveting sport of the player, but it's not very active. The game also consists of two people staring at one another from across the sea of cards for hours on end. It's very low-key, at least until both players make a simultaneous lunge at the same card. That can be kind of interesting, I guess. It's a slightly more active sport than shogi or go, because the players have actually coordinated their movements, but it's still not my go-to source of entertainment. It's not exactly soccer or hell, tennis. I'm not sure if I want to stay cooped up in the palace all day when I just had such a long plane journey. I think I've had enough of sitting to last me a while. That is a good point. Perhaps you might want to stretch your legs. Good idea. I didn't get to see much of Rosenberg the last time I came here, or much of Astoria in general. I think there's still a lot for me to see. I guess I might as well go out there and take a look. That sounds like a wonderful idea. I hope you enjoy yourself, Hiroki. Just be sure to bundle up warm. It's very cold this time of the year. And notice, yeah. I smiled, touched by Stefania's concern. I'll take care of myself. You don't need to worry. I promise I'll come back in one piece, with all of my fingers attached. It'd be a bad look if I caught my hypothermia. It would indeed. It would cause Milady no end of stress. She cares about you a good deal, so much so it does not do to jokes about such topics. You will be alright, Mr. Rosawa, otherwise there will be trouble. Why is she mad? Right. The heck? I get that Elizabeth's trying to support me, at least I think she is, but there's something pretty sinister about the way she said that. Why would she do if I did catch hypothermia supplex me? Elizabeth is a succubus herself, and they're stronger than normal humans. I don't think it would be beyond the realm of possibility. I guess I'll have to ensure I don't get hurt. Then not that I was really planning on that. If I get injured, it will scupper up my plans to see more of Astoria, which would be a shame. It's a very pretty country. I recall from my last time here that it looks incredibly picturesque, just like something you would expect to see on a postcard. I think it might be nice to take a few photos of my surroundings. Now that I'm here, I don't want to pass up on the opportunity. It's simple pleasures like these that make people happy. I hope you have a good time, Hiroki. I'll be waiting here to greet you when you return. Oh, yes, me too. Please tell me everything about your day out. I would love to hear about everything you've been getting up to. I'll even have Lizzie make you some hot chocolate on your return if you like. That should help. I can't even speak. That should help warm up you again in no time. Certainly, milady. If that is what you wish, I would be only too happy to oblige. That and having a trio of cute girls waiting for me when I get back, that's something to be happy about too. I'll allow myself a small smile. Not for the first time I struggle with just how fortunate I am. I'm incredibly lucky. Just to be with all these women, you know. A little while later. Now let's see. I'm standing in the central plaza of Astoria's capital city, Rosenberg, my camera about to my neck, and my body clad in heavy-duty coats. It might be March, but it is like Stefania forewarned me, pretty chilly. I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of underwear, and a pair of gloves, but the icy wind still managed to find a way to slice through my defenses. In fact, I think it might be even colder now that it was during my last visit to Astoria, and that was back in January. I shudder when I exhale. A plum of white mist escapes from my mouth. It's a good thing Stefania warned me about the cold, otherwise I would have gone outside unprepared. The coat helps, I guess. At least Rosenberg is just as enchanting as ever. The houses look like they've been plucked straight from a fairy tale, and the fountain in the middle of the plaza is a work of art. It wasn't that long ago that I went on a date here with Stefania, her first ever date, from what I recall. We ate crepes together and I even took her on the Ferris wheel. I wonder if that wheel is still there. Maybe it's been dismantled since it's no longer the holiday season. Now I'm curious. Maybe I'll go and check it out. If the Ferris wheel is here, it'd be nice to take a few photographs of it. I got some good snapshots of it already during my last visit, but a few more photos won't hurt. I pick my way along the cobblestone paths with great care, anxious that I might slip and fall on the icy ground. Try to keep my wits about me alongside my balance. Since I'm pretty tall, I have even further to fall than a lot of other people. I don't want to fall over. That would be embarrassing. And it'd be even worse if I lost my glasses during such an altercation. I'm basically blind without them. I continue to pick my way through the streets carefully when a high-pitched scream makes me start. What was that? I pick up the pace, walking a little more briskly while searching for the source of that scream. I don't run, I don't have a death wish, but I still find myself sliding on the ice regardless. It's a good thing I'm not completely uncoordinated. Maybe working out with Hazel has had some practical benefits after all. I scan the street, my eyes narrow behind the lenses of my glasses, and... oh. I'm finally able to detect the source of that cry. There's a woman slumped on the ground. I guess she must have tripped on the ice just like I was trying very hard not to. Her legs are sprawled in elegantly as she's rubbing her rear. Looks of pain upon her pretty face. She looks rather perturbed, and there are numerous of shopping bags scattered about her. A cashmere sweater is spilling out of one bag, a pair of heels shoes from another. She was probably out shopping then when she slipped. Owie! I'm such a klutz. I can't believe I fell over like that. How embarrassing. The woman mumbles admonishments under her breath as she continues to rub her rear. She looks pretty shaken up so much, so I feel sorry for her. A few curious bystanders are looking at her, but nobody hurrying forward towards help. Maybe they don't want to get involved? I can understand that mindset. I am Japanese after all, but I don't want to ignore this woman. That would seem callous. Feeling rather sorry for her, I approach her, then hold out a hand. Excuse me, miss, are you alright? What? Oh, the woman looks up at me. Our eyes meet, and the moment they do, I stare. I thought that this woman was attractive from a distance, but it's only now that I figure out how very wrong I was. She isn't just attractive, she's a drop-dead gorgeous. Her cheeks are flush, her eyes fring with long lashes, her lips fully pearly pink. Her hair is brown and curls sweetly about her shoulders, framing her heart-shaped face. She looks doubtful, though I can see the faintest suggestion of the lines beneath her eyes. It's not polite to guess a woman's age, but if I was held at gunpoint, I'd say she's probably in her late 30s, maybe even her early 40s. I think she has at least a decade on me. In any case, she has a mature look to her, but that doesn't make her any less appealing. She wears her years gracefully. She's so pretty, in fact, that I have to wonder whether she's a succubus, but that seems unlikely. What are the odds of every attractive woman I run into being a succubus? She does look familiar though. I think I might have seen her before, but I can't quite place her face. Is she famous? Maybe she's a television star. I tried to rack my mind, but excuse me sir, you are staring at me rather hard. Did I do something to bother you? What? I'm drawn from my thoughts by the woman's query tone. Was I spacing out just now? I think I must have been. How embarrassing. I'm sorry. I thought that you looked familiar is all, but never mind that. Here, I proffer my hand once more. Do you need help standing? Well. The woman smiles, the corners of her eyes crinkling. Aren't you a gentleman? There aren't many young men like you about nowadays. I'm afraid you're a dying breed. Everybody else who passes me ignore me. Not that I can blame them. I did make quite the fool out of myself. It is nice to know that there are kind men like you around. However, who are willing to come to the aid of foolish old ladies such as myself? I'm touched, though this is a little embarrassing. The woman raises her arm, then takes my hand. Her fingers curl against mine, fingers which are long, slender, and tipped with manicured nails. This woman's fingernail simply screams elegance, just like her clothes and her hair. There's nothing too outlandish about them. Her nails are neatly trimmed, painted with nude claws, but it's obvious enough that this is a woman who's taking good care of herself. She must put a lot of effort into her appearance. That's the general impression I get anyway. I help the woman to her feet, then smile at her. I wouldn't say that you're an old lady, ma'am. Why you don't look a day over 20? Oh, you. The woman titters, the bat at my arm playfully. I thought that you were like an Arthurian knight, but maybe I should reassess my opinion of you. It seems more like you're a silver-tongued lady killer instead. Although, now that I think about it, some of the knights of the Round Table were renowned for being rather flirtatious themselves. They were? Oh yes, Lancelot in particular was known to be quite the cur. He did sleep with Knight King Arthur's wife after all. But enough about that. The woman smiles, a faint blush canvassing her cheeks. Is she embarrassed? Either she's still a bit flustered from that fall, or she's starting to worry that she said too much. Whatever the case may be, I think her reaction is rather charming. Damn, that being said, she really is my type. That's crazy. I mean, she really is cute, though. If not horribly infantilizing to think of an adult woman like that, if Aya was here, she'd probably call this woman a hag. So it's a good thing, I guess, that Aya isn't here. She'd make this encounter all kinds of awkward. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a big fan of Arthurian myths. I like old stories like that a lot in general, especially when they're about swordplay, magic, and daring do. Throw in a bit of romantic intrigue with that, and that's all it takes to entice me. I'm rather simple-minded. People always tell me I have my head in the clouds, which probably explains why I'm forever tripping over my own feet. Is this a common occurrence with you then? Falling over? The woman smiles bashfully while pressing the tips of her index finger together. Unfortunately so, I'm dreadfully clumsy. You think I'd be more coordinated given my line of work, but evidently not. I'm curious about what this woman's lines of work is. A gymnast? Maybe that would explain why she looks so familiar, but I don't press the subject. I suddenly aware of the woman shopping, which is still scattered on the street. There isn't enough of a breeze for any of these bags to blow away. Thank goodness, but I don't want her shopping getting dirty. I bend down, retrieving the fallen bags, then hand them to her. Oh, here you are, milady. I'm not sure if she'll appreciate the milady or not. It might be a bit too on the nose after she told me about her fondness for Arthurian knights, but my, you really are a gentleman. I got so caught up talking about myself, I quite forgot about all of my shopping. I'm so scatterbrained, I swear. I've heard it said that I forget my own head if it wasn't secured onto my neck. The woman giggles softly. She has a light lifting sort of a laugh as she takes her hold of her bags. I thought I ought to do something nice to you to repay you for kindness, but this clinches it. But you would have been such a big help, dear. I absolutely have to treat you. Is there anything you want? Anything I want? I blink at the woman uncertainly bemused. Are you talking about momentarily? Yes, if you like. I'm not hurting for money, as you might be able to tell. The woman gestures to her numerous shopping bags, her smiles touch abashed. I have so much of it. In fact, I'm not really sure what to do with it at all. I can't possibly spend it all myself, so I think I ought to do something nice for you. You deserve it. Oh, I'm very flattered, I guess. But right now, there's only one thing I want from you, and it won't cost any money either. Oh? The woman inclines her head, her expression curious. And what might that be? Well, right now, the only thing I really want from you, other than a kiss, maybe for being her knight in not so shiny armor, is your name. My name? The woman ponders this request for a few moments. It looks like she's deep in thought, though why that should be, I'm not sure. I think I asked her a fairly simple question. It shouldn't be too hard, shouldn't it? Share her name? I've hardly asked her 100th digit of pi, which is 9, by the way. I'm starting to wonder whether she might be some sort of celebrity who's going into incognito, or maybe a spy when I think I can manage at least that much. If you want to know my name, then it's Chizuru, and it really is a pleasure to meet you. Oh, well, of course I already know her name, but damn. After running to Chizuru, the two of us go on a date of sorts. We meander along aimlessly through Astoria streets, then towards the riverbank. Since it's so cold, parts of the river have frozen over. When we exhale, our breath escapes from our lips and puffs of white which linger in the air before dispersing. We see a few swan boats out on the river, their heads and bodies painted a smooth, sleek white, but they're out of commission. I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't be working given the weather, but that's still a bit of a bummer. What a pity. I've always wanted to ride on one of these ever since I was a teenager. It was one of my dreams, in fact. Really now. I look at Chizuru curiously, taking in her made-up face, her neatly styled hair, then frown. You know, she looks familiar as someone from Genshin Impact named Yae Miko. Like that whole hairstyle. I don't know why I'm just saying this in episode 2, but this is something I noticed back in episode 1, but I never said it till now. I'm just saying this now at this point. She literally looks like Yae Miko. Straight up. That seemed like a pretty humble dream, especially coming from a woman like Chizuru, who, though I'm guessing here, must come from a pretty neat, wealthy family. Well, yes, riding in a swan boat with your partner is a common scenario which pops up in romance manga. I used to daydream about all sorts of lovey-dovey scenes like that in my youth, though I never really had the chance to make those dreams come true. Did none of those guys at your school want to help fulfill your humble dreams? I didn't go to school very much, unfortunately, not high school at least. Huh? Now that's another interesting bit of info. I wonder what it means. You weren't a wallflower, were you? You weren't a delinquent, were you? I definitely skipped enough school to qualify, but no. I'm sorry to shatter your delusions about me, Hiroki, but I was a model student when I did show up. I had to be. I didn't want to draw any unnecessary attention to myself. My classmates were predisposed to single me out, I think because I was so different from them. I used to worry quite a lot about what they thought, but that's all in the past, I suppose. I didn't have the time to date any boys, and I wouldn't have been able to anyway. My contract didn't allow for such things. It would have caused a huge scandal. Her contract? What is she talking about? I'm trying to piece this together when Shu talks anew, her voice heavy with regret. I was never able to ride on those swan boats when I was in school, and the opportunity has never presented her itself since. It would have been nice if I could finally take that off my bucket list, but I suppose that I can be a goal for my future self to look forward to. For the present, I'd rather enjoy wandering around with you. Are you sure? It is pretty chilly out here. It is, you're right. My poor fingers are starting to freeze up. You know, if we're to be the fall season, we'll look a lot more better. You know, come to think of it. But that's alright. Chizuru smiles, then settles up even closer to me. She presses her chest, which is rather large, against my arm and says in a soft voice, "When I'm with you, I can hardly feel the cold. You're doing a remarkable job at warming me up." Well, thank you. I'm glad I could be of service, milady. If you any further need to be a portable heater, look no further. I'd be more than happy to volunteer myself up for the job. Goodness me, how very thought of you. If you're willing to let me take so many liberties with you, then perhaps I will. You're making me an offer I simply can't refuse. Chizuru squeezes my arm with a little more strength as she giggles. Her laughter is a light and lifting, and it hangs in the icy air about me like birdsong. Even Chizuru's laughter sounds elegant. There's something graceful about her, despite her chest being pressed up against my arm. Her teasing personality coupled with her mature demeanor makes it a little hard to get a read on her. But there's one thing at least that I'm certain of. I think that Chizuru is very charming, and I'm glad that I met her. My body heat might be warming her up, but her company is doing much the same to me. The air is still icy and unforgiving, but it feels like I'm being soothed. It's hard to not relax in Chizuru's company. Is it? Chizuru and I meter about Rosenberg streets for a while. Her arms loop through mine. Chizuru guides me to a fancy cafe, not the one where I sampled those delicious sweets with Marina and Hazel, where we both ordered cake and tea. Chizuru has a slice of strawberry shortcakes, which seems very fitting for her, while I offer something a little less extravagant. I'm not a big fan of sweets in general, so a single piece of banana bread is enough for me. We while away a couple of hours in the cafe chatting with one another and sipping our drinks as patrons meander about us. Around. I drink 3 cups of green tea during our conversation while Chizuru has a hazelnut latte. Once we've satisfied our appetites for the present, we then resume our wandering. Chizuru seems to be rather well acquainted with this area and she takes me to a few spots of her particular interest. We go to a park with several interesting statues, all of them depicting military men from Historia's storied past. I take several photos while Chizuru explains some of the history behind these monuments. She takes me to an ornament garden tucked away in the park which has clearly seen better days. Since it's so chilly, the flower beds are looking pretty empty. There isn't much in the way of flowers to look at, though there is an ornamental pond that's rather pretty. The pair of us toss a couple of coins into the pond and make a wish, then continue our wandering. Chizuru takes me to a few shops where she pauses to examine scents in bottles and brand new scarves, and once she had her fill of shopping, we visit an aquarium. It is a lovely place with a lot of fish. There's a big tunnel made up of tanks and oh, it's wonderful. Walking through that tunnel feels just like being at the bottom of the ocean. I've been here several times, but I can never get enough of it. Coming here always makes me feel like a young girl again. We go to the aquarium together at Chizuru's effusive recommendation, and the entrance fee is a little steep, but Chizuru offers to pay it. It's my treat. I'm the one who asked you to come here, so it's the only right that I pay for your entry. You wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for me, after all. I try to argue the point because, of course I do. It doesn't seem very manly letting a woman pay for everything, but Chizuru politely declines. Please don't fuss so much, Roki. You need to look upon this as me doing you a favor. You already helped me once. Now it's my turn to show you a bit of kindness in return. Besides, Chizuru smiles deviously. If you really want to show me a good time, you should save your philanthropy for when we go and get dinner. I wouldn't mind being treated to a fancy bottle of champagne or two. Chizuru eventually wears me down and I agree to let her foot the bill for our aquarium date. Not that it's a real date, I suppose. I mean, we're still strangers. I hardly know Chizuru, but I am having fun spending time with her. The day passes by in a blur, and before I know it, the two of us are having dinner together. Chizuru takes us to a fancy place. It's an elaborately decorated restaurant which has a menu written not in German, which is Astoria's main language, or in English, which is his second, but in French. Why French though? Astoria is much closer to Germany and Austria. I don't think many French people live here either. But I guess French is synonymous with fine dining all across the world. But I have some trouble with the menu, but Chizuru was able to translate for me handily. I wonder whether she's actually a fluent French speaker. It's either that or she's been here often enough that she has the menu memorized, something which wouldn't be too unreasonable. She seems to know Astoria very well. We have an enjoyable meal together, which is sullied somewhat by how self-conscious I feel. This is a very upmarket restaurant. More than so, the place I usually go to eat. It looks like the sort of place which should have a dress code. In fact, I think it probably does have a dress code. All of the other men who are seated about the circular tables are wearing suits. I feel distinctly undressed in my plain shirt and my denim pants. But how was I to know that I find myself somewhere so luxurious? If I know I wind up coming here, I would have made sure to dress for the occasion. I don't fail to know how the waiters sniff at me when they present us with our champagne. They seem particularly perturbed by my hair, which is messy, and by my beaten up old sneakers. Man, like, why they gotta glaze on me like this? It's crazy. Like, just let me live and enjoy my dinner. I'm surprised when I was even let into this place, since the atmosphere is so glamorous. I must have gotten in because of Chizuru. I guess she's pretty influential. This makes me suspect more strongly than ever before that she's a celeb. But though Chizuru talked to me quite a lot throughout the course of the day, she's not said very much about herself, nothing concrete at least. All I've been able to glean is that she's Japanese. She's only just turned 40, and she's rather wealthy. And what she does for a living, however, remains a mystery. She doesn't do anything. Maybe she doesn't do anything for a living. Could she be a socialite? It would explain how she seems to know so much about other countries. If nothing else, I could tell that she travels a lot. In any case, the two of us have a rather enjoyable time at dinner. The dirty glares the restaurant staff keeps shooting me notwithstanding, like, yo, they're just glazing at me like crazy. They don't stop. Like, it just don't stop. Yeah, these staff members or something. Chizuru handles most of the checkpoint, though. I do pay for one of the bottles of champagne like I said I would. It's incredibly pricey, but I can just about cover it. My income as a photographer isn't the best, but I am not completely destitute. And our food consumed Chizuru suggests that we take our leave. Once. Oh man. Would you mind escorting me back to your hotel, dear Hiroki? I don't want to be in imposition, but I think I might have drunk just a teeny tiny bit of mush. I don't want to find my way back in the dark, and I don't know if I trust myself in these heels. You already saw how clumsy I am when I'm stone cold sober. I don't want to take another spill on the sidewalk. That would be embarrassing. It's fine, it's not an imposition at all. Are you sure? Of course, I was actually going to suggest walking you back myself. It would be bad manners to simply leave you, especially when you bankrolled for most of the day. If nothing else, I want to assure that you get back safely. I should have known you'd say that. You're very kind, Hiroki. I'm so glad I met you. Me too. You've livened up what would have otherwise have been quite a lonely day. Now, I offer Chizuru my arm. Do you need any help? It will be appreciated. I'm feeling just a little unsteady on my feet. A red-faced Chizuru sidles up to me just like she did earlier and twines her arms through my own. Yeah, she's about to fall straight up. It's about to be a round two again. Then pressing her chest against my upper arm, she says, "Shall we be on our way, my lord? We most certainly shall, milady." I bow my head in assent, playing along with Chizuru's old-fashioned manners of speaking without batting an eyelid. I'm used to playing different roles as part of my parcel of being such a popular guy with so many different women vying for my attention. Now, would you mind giving me some directions? I'm afraid I don't know where your hotel is. Ah, yes, that would make things rather difficult, wouldn't it? Right now, let me see. I think it was down this street. Chizuru gave me a few directions. I followed them obediently. With Chizuru still clinging to me, the two of us eventually makes it to her hotel. And what a hotel it is. I thought she'd be staying somewhere grand after we went to such a fancy restaurant, but this is even more luxurious than I was expecting. The hotel is one of the biggest buildings in the area, and it looks to be one of the oldest too. Its exterior is made of stone, and there's a coat of engraves onto the wall above the entrance hall. This place doesn't look like an ordinary hotel. It looks more like a castle. All it's missing is a moat and some cannons. I stand outside the hotel, if it can be called that, for a few moments, slack-jawed. Hiroki, Earth to Hiroki, are you alright? But Chizuru's sing-song voice brings me to my senses. I blinked and offered Chizuru a bashful smile. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I must have been spacing out for a few moments. Let's get you indoors, shall we? That sounds like a good idea to me. I'm starting to feel sleepy, and my poor soles are aching from all of this walking. We did do quite a bit of walking, didn't we? Well, not to worry. I'll get you inside soon enough. I ascend the stone steps which lead to the hotel's opulent entrance. Chizuru still clinging to me like a grain of sticky rice. That I enter the lobby, which is every bit as grand, if not grander than its exterior. Chizuru directs me to her bedroom and I obey her instructions. The hallways are plushy, carpeted, and our footsteps make no sound as we walk to Chizuru's chambers. She then directs me to her pockets, where she asks me to extract her room key. Apparently she's so worried even trying to open the door is more more effort that she can exert, I can insert the key into the lock and push down onto the floor, and I usher Chizuru inside. She breathes a sigh of relief once she steps indoors, then smiles. Phew, I'm finally back. This is the same place that Marina booked last time. Like, it literally is it's actually the same place. It feels like I've been outside for a small eternity. Thank you for helping me, Hiroki. You're such a nice young man. I knew the moment I saw you that you were a real gentleman. I really am fortunate that I ran into you. I had such a nice time tonight. Oh, it's fine. Don't mention it. I'm trying to maintain my gentlemanly dignity, but Chizuru's standing awfully close to me, perhaps a bit too close. Her chest, which is sizable, is pushed up against my arm. It feels kind of nice. I can feel her mouth intimidatingly, so much so I can't help but blush. She sure is making herself comfortable. I glance about my hotel room for want anywhere else to look. It's better than guaving at Chizuru's cleavage and take a look at the digital alarm clock and on the bedside table. It says plain as day, and that is already 20:30, which is 10:30 p.m. if you guys don't know. This is literally military time right here. This is 10:30 p.m. It's kind of late. I'll bet the others will be wondering where I am. Hey Chizuru, it's getting on. I think I should head back now if you don't mind. I don't want to make my my travel companions worry. Well, it's not like I can just call Ayu and my harem not in front of Chizuru. That would invite all sorts of questions and it would feel a bit shameless to boot. What sort of guy openly says that he has a harem anyway? This isn't the 1001 Nights, and I'm not an Arabian prince. I'm just Hiroki, some average Japanese dude who works as a photographer. Fortunately for me, however, Chizuru doesn't seem to notice the slip of my tongue. She drank so much, I don't think she's in the right frame of mind to notice much of anything. She glances distractedly at the alarm clock, then gasps. Oh yes, you're right. I'm so sorry for taking up your time, Hiroki. I'll be out of your way out of your hair in an instant. Don't let me keep bothering you. It's really no bother. I enjoy my time spent with you. In fact, I think I enjoyed a little too much. It's because you were such a good company that I stayed out so late. Oh, you. Chizuru giggles, then nudges me in the side. You really are a charmer. I'll have to be careful or I might end up falling for you. A giggle, Chizuru steps away from me, then reaches for her clothes. I guess it's time I got ready for bed. All of a sudden, it feels kind of warm in here. These clothes are also constricting. Huh? Hey, Chizuru. I call to her, but my words fall of deaf ears. Oh boy, here we go. What the? Chizuru slips out of her clothes, leaving them pulled on the floor, then it sits down upon the bed. A large expanse of her milky white skin has been exposed to my revolving eyes so much I started to flutter. I'm so used to seeing women in various states of undress, even very pretty women, but Chizuru's actions were sudden and unexpected enough to take me by surprise. Why did she just take all of her clothes off? She isn't trying to seduce me, is she? If so, she doesn't need to go to extreme lengths like this. I already thought that she was pretty, but she's even prettier without all of those clothes in the way. I trace the lines of her body with my eyes if compelled by some greater force. I feel a little guilty for my luxurious ways, but I can't help myself. It's hard not to stare, not when she's so dizzily good looking. I knew that Chizuru was busty but she's even bustier than I thought she was. The lace cuffs of her bra are straining, containing her breasts. They're jiggling pretty hypnotically too. I can't tear my eyes away. Chizuru? Crap, this could be bad. If this keeps up, all of the blood is going to start rushing to my head, and to my second head too. I'm not sure where to look. I'm not sure what to do. I'm standing there feeling more and more out of depth as the moments elapse. Is Chizuru going to ask me to give her a goodnight kiss? A goodnight hug? Will she demand something more? This might be presumptuous of me, but a lot of pretty women have made moves on me. At this point, I've almost begun to suspect it. I would be surprised. Hiroki. Chizuru says my name softly, but her voice sultry. She looks at me with half-lit her eyes. Her lips curve into a sinuous smile. 1 second passes. 2. Chizuru exhales, her glossy lips pursed. Then after a pause, she says, It was so nice being able to spend some time with you, but I don't know if I'm satisfied just yet. Oh no, we gotta do it for her in bed? Oh boy. Do you want to get to know me a little better? Chizuru's eyes bore into mine, half-lit and sultry. Though she isn't exactly being upfront about what she's after, I can tell what she's implying. She wants me to hang back to spend some quality time with her. I don't know if I'm opposed to the idea. She is very pretty, but the hours wearing on. It's late and I don't want to keep Ayu and the others waiting for me. They don't know where I've gone, so they'll probably start worrying if I spend too long outdoors. What should I say? Hey, this is our chance now. We gotta take her up on the offer. We gotta do this. Well, the answer to that is obvious. If a pretty woman is propositioning me, I'm hardly going to turn her down. Ayu might taunt me a lot, but I'm not a complete idiot. I know I should make the most of these moments when they present themselves, so I answer Chizuru in the positive. Well, of course I would love to get to know you better. Why wouldn't I, when you're so lovely? Is there anything in particular you have in mind? Oh yes, there are all sorts of things I like to do with you, my darling Hiroki. Now, she looks me up and down, a coy smile playing about her lips. There's a couple of different ways we could approach this. Only a couple? I rejoin with knowing a smile of my own. I could think of a lot of different things I like to do with you. A couple doesn't even begin to cover it. Oh, you. Chizuru giggles while waving a hand in my direction. That's so naughty, Hiroki. But maybe I should have expected that. I can tell based on the way that you conduct yourself that you're a man who knows his way around a woman's body. I am certain that you know what women want. I wouldn't be surprised if you envisioned at least a dozen ways we might seek to make one another feel happy, but there are 2 scenarios I've been turning through my head during our little date. Wow, really? Does that mean you've been thinking about dirty thoughts about me all day? Not at all. Not all day, no. Just most of it? Well, maybe. Damn, you might act elegant, but you're surprisingly shameless. I feel like I'm being objectified here. Oh, please, don't tell me that you haven't been imagining me in all sorts of interesting scenarios yourself. If you were to say that, I would not believe you. Heh, somebody's pretty confident. But I guess you have a good reason to be. You're right, I might have been thinking about you in that way too. At least a little bit. Then I'm glad we're on the same page. Now, Chizuru leans in, pressing her breasts together with her arms. Now, exactly, how do you want me? What do you want to do? You can either make me feel good, or I can make you feel good. Let me know what scenario appeals the most. I'll let you decide, Hiroki. For tonight, and tonight alone, you can have me however you want. I promise. Well, we come down to this conclusion, huh? Well, I mean, she has been doing a lot of numbers for me, but I think it's a chance we make her feel good, right? I mean, hey, she can make me feel good. Well, pretty much. Yeah, let's go with that one. It's a little tiring actually that I can never be free of my harem despite my best efforts. I might as well keep watching this show. I thought you might say that. You might act like a gentleman, but I can see that you're a beast of a man deep down. It stands to reason you would want me to pleasure you. But that's alright. I would love to be of service to you. Are you sure you don't mind? Not at all. I'm the one who proposed all of this, and I really can't wait to see what sort of cute faces you make as I'm servicing you. The thought really is appealing. I'm starting to get excited already, and the fun hasn't even started yet. Now come with me. Chizuru takes me by the hand and leads me to the chair. She implores me to sit, which I do without question. I can already see where this is going, and she kneels before me. She looks up at me, her eyes shining, and runs her tongue against her lower lip. In the lamplight of the hotel room, her lips shine as though she's just applied gloss to them. She exhales, then leaning in, she reaches for the fly of my pants. She undoes them as I sit back, letting her manipulate me. However, she desires sign as she extracts my John from confirms. Oh. Of course, it's already hard. I've been anticipating this. The cool air against my John feels pretty good, and I groan as Chizuru exposes it before her roving eyes. She pokes her tip, which is already flushed, and giggles. You really are cute. You're so nice and hard for me already, but I think I can make you even harder. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chizuru exposes her breast before my roving eyes as she speaks. She leans in. Later that night. Uh-oh. Hiroki, you're back. It's good to see you again. It feels like it's been ages since I last saw you. How was your day? Well, oh, so you finally seem to fit to grace us with your presence, have you? Where do you think you've been, mister? Ayu's violet eyes are narrowed with self-righteous fury. She looks so irate, I wouldn't be surprised to see flames burning her irises. I've seen Ayu lose her temper on her numerous occasions, but it's always a sight to behold. It's impressive that she's been able to look so pissed given the copious amounts of pink she wears. Yo, copious. She's intimidating enough that on the bad day she could give Marina a run for her money, though I'm a little surprised to see that Ayu's in the dining room, and the other members of my harem for that matter. And it's gone 2100, which is 11 o'clock, while my Succubus, harem plus Stefania are all sitting around at the dining table. Isn't it a little late for dinner? Hey Cosmos, hey Ayu, and hello to the rest of you. I glance over at the other women who are assembled at the dining room table. Elise, Hifumi, Stefania, and Elizabeth standing beside her. I'm subtly aware that though places have been set at the table, no food has been served yet. That's odd. From experience, dinner in the palace usually commences around 1900, which is... This is pretty much, that's 9 o'clock right there. So that's like in military time. I wonder, weren't you waiting for me to come back before you served dinner, were you? Indeed we were. I told Millie that we ought to continue as usual and let you have some leftovers once you had returned, but she refused to hear of it. She said that she did not want to start eating until everybody was here. There, you see? Ayu glares at me sullenly. We've all been kept waiting because of your selfishness, Hiroki, and I'm starving. I've been busting my cute little ass all day for my upcoming concert. I'm completely exhausted. I was hoping to fill up on some carbs as soon as I got back, but somebody had to take a freaking forever to get back. Where the hell were you? I too would like to know that. It isn't very polite, you know, to keep a lady waiting. Now, Lizzie, I'm sure Hiroki had a good reason for staying out so late. Yo, they're all just surrounding me at this point. Like, what am I supposed to do now? And for failing to answer his phone, though I texted him about 15 times. Well, a bead of cold sweat begins to form on Stefania's brow as awkward she smiles. Maybe his phone ran out of battery, or perhaps he simply forgot. It happens to the best of us. In any case, it really is my fault that dinner was delayed. I am the one who insists that we wait for Hiroki. He never asked for dinner to be delayed. If you must blame somebody, Ayu, feel free to blame me. Oh, believe me, I am blaming you. Or at least I would. If that maid of yours wasn't gloating at me like she wants to stab me with the silverware. Oh, Miss Ayu, you wouldn't wound me. I would never do anything so cruel. I would only give you a bit of a prod. There will be no prodding anybody with the silverware, not while I'm around. Yo, this series is so hilarious, bro. All of them together with this stuff, man. Oh, man. I don't want you hurting any of my guests, Lizzie. Even if they deserve it? Even so. Elizabeth opens her mouth and closes it. Then after a long pause, she sighs and says, very well, my apologies, my lady. Though I don't think I did anything wrong. Oh. Gee, that's crazy. Yo. She really is something, though. She really is something. She is something. I swear, like, she really is something else. Elizabeth mumbles something very softly under her breath, so softly I don't quite catch it. I think I did, though, because an uneasy look crosses her face. The atmosphere in here has taken a significant plunge. Is this my fault? I guess it has to be. I think back to everything Chizuru and I did in the hotel, and I can't help but feel a prickle of guilt. What should I say? This seems like, I mean, yeah, let's apologize to Stefania, because Ayu's just doing too much at this point. I'm sorry, Stefania, for holding the whole evening up, and I'm so sorry to you too, Elizabeth. I hope you haven't caused the maze too many problems. It has not been an ideal situation, no. But if you are suitably remorseful, I suppose I can overlook your transgressions. Transgressions, huh? That's a pretty harsh word. Even if it isn't inaccurate. Why are you so late, though? What happened? That's what I want to know. What in the world were you doing? Well, I don't have any real reasons for being out so late. I just went for a walk and, well, I ran into a pretty woman and she took me out on a tour of Rosenberg, and then we went on a dinner date and she got drunk. Then I went back to our hotel and we got a little frisky. Then that would be the truthful response. But Ayu looks so disgruntled already, I'm not sure if she wants to hear the truth. It'd probably be for the best if I kept my meeting with Chizuru to myself. I don't want to upset Ayu. More than she is already, that is. Rosenberg is such a pretty city, I guess. I just lost track of time. I was so busy and wandering around, I didn't think to check my phone. I'm sorry if I made any of you worry, and I'm sorry if I delayed your dinner. You really shouldn't have felt the need to wait on me. I wouldn't have minded. You might not have, but I would. It's the principle of the thing. I agree with Stefania. It always feels much more cozy to eat when everybody is present. I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to enjoy the food properly without you, Hiroki. Same here. Now that you're here, I'm sure that tonight's dinner will taste better than ever before. I'm sure that the dinner will taste just fine with or without Mr. Urasawa. I have faith in our chefs. I know that they are capable of producing delicious cuisine which is more than capable of standing on its own. But I must answer to Milady's wishes. She wants to wait, so that is what I did. Now that Mr. Urasawa is here, however, we can begin the earnest. Let me go and report to the kitchen staff. The food shall be here shortly. Please do. Thank you so much, Lizzie. It is no problem. You know you needed to thank me, milady. I wouldn't do anything for you after all. Well, duh, you are her maid. That's what you're paid to do. Damn. The disrespect is crazy. The disrespect is insane, I'm not gonna lie. Elizabeth doesn't respond to Ayu's sulky retort. Instead, she turns on her heels, presumably to head over to the kitchen. Meanwhile, take a seat at the table besides Cosmos. There's a seat open besides Ayu too, but I think I'd rather take my chance with everybody's favorite cat-eared internet idol. Cosmo, for one, isn't glared at me. She should be much more pleasant companion. Hi Hiroki, it's good to see you. I was starting to miss you. Did you have fun today? Oh yes, I too would like to know what you have been up to. I, for my own part, was rather busy teaching Steffi the finer points of Karuta. I have been rather busy, but it was rewarding at the same token. What of you? I paused, feeling a little awkward. What should I tell Hifumi? It's not like I want to keep the day's events a secret from her. I don't think she really mind, but I don't want Ayu to overhear us. While Hifumi is the one for being jealous, Ayu certainly is. I hem and haw for a little, feeling awkward. My apologies for the wait, my mistress and my master, and I pronounce that tonight's dinner is now served, but I'm saved from having to explain myself by the sound of the dining room door opening. Several maids enter, pushing trays of laden food and holding balls of fancy champagne. We just had champagne, man, and this is literally enough. These maids work in double quick time, laying down in plates of steaming food before us and offering to pour us drinks. It takes only a few minutes before we've all been fully served our plates, glowing with food. I'm not feeling particularly hungry myself. I already ate with Chizuru, but the others look enthusiastic. Kazu stares at the food with wide eyes, her face positively sparkling. Oh, this looks great. I can't wait to dig in. You sure know how to spoil a girl, Steffi. Well, naturally, you are esteemed guest. You are my esteemed guest. You deserve to be spoiled. I am sure that Hiroki would agree with my assessment too. Of course, I always like spoiling you where I can, Cosmos. Though I think Steffi might have been able to do a better job at it than me, I don't have a whole bunch of servants, and I think I can't ask them to whip out an extravagant meal like this at a short notice. Damn, if I'm not careful, I'm afraid Steffi might steal you all away from me. I would not be surprised if that did come to pass. Lady is incredibly cute, as we all know. God, there was that smug face again. Her charms are such, and imagine anybody could be won over by her, regardless of gender. If anybody deserves to have her own adoring harem, it is Milady. Oh please, you extravagant Lizzie. I'm really not all that special. I'm sure Hazel would disagree with that assessment. Hazel's no real indicator of taste. She drools over anything with a pulse. Steffi is definitely drool-worthy though. She's omega adorbs. I wouldn't mind being a member of her harem myself. Especially if I can eat delicious food like this all the time. Or I could sign up to be one of your followers, Steffi. Followers? Stefania frowns. I do have a Rapid Pound account if you want to check it out, but I post under Pseudion, and I mostly post screenshots from my various anime series and TV dramas I'm watching. I don't post any selfies. What? Why not? You're so pretty, it seems like a waste. Presumably it's because she doesn't want anybody to discover her real identity. Having a social media account as a royal is just inviting people to mess with you. Exactly. I don't want people telling me I deserve to be gilded twin simply for existing. I just want to have a safe space online where I can talk about the wonders of Japanese animation. As for myself, I don't have a Rapid Pound account at all. I find navigating the internet difficult at the best of times without complicating the matters for myself even further. I simply don't understand young people. It's not that tricky, Hifumin. I already said I could help you set all that up if you want. I think people would love to follow you. Do you really? Of course, I know I would. That is very flattering, but I do not know if I want people following me. That sounds a bit troublesome. I have had issues with stalkers in the past, and it's always unpleasant. You too, huh? Join the club. Same here. But following someone online isn't the same as following them in IRL. It isn't? Nope, most people want followers online. That's how you grow your brand. Social media is all about stalking people. While all you Cosmos Stefania and Fumi chatter, Elise has gone strangely silent. I glance over at her, worried that she might be having another one of her panic attacks. What the? She's glorying over the food. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Elise doesn't look pained, and neither does she look particularly pale. It's that she's staring at all the lavish food set out before her eyes, sparkling. Her smile is so wide I can see her pearly white teeth glinting in her mouth. I don't know if I've ever seen Elise so excited. Hey Elise. I give Elise a nudge with my foot under the table. Are you alright? Oh yes, I am just fine, Hiroki. I apologize if I made you worry. There's nothing wrong with me at all, but all this food. Elise looks back at the fancy spread on the table, her face a little flushed. I think I can hear her stomach rumble. Then with a soft sigh, like a person newly reunited with their lover after many years apart, she says, "It all looks so good, I don't know where to begin. This pastry is freshly baked and flaky, and the potatoes are all over covered in butter. The carrots have been sauteed for perfection, and the salmon looks so soft and pink. It's all incredible. If this is how the other half live, then I'll gladly join Stefania's harem myself. I'll be her concubine. I'll do anything if I can eat this good every single day. My concubine? Stefania squeezed her face, turning crimson. It is very kind of you to offer, Elise, but I don't think you need to go that far. I'm perfectly happy just being friends. How can we be friends though, when you've given me so much? You deserve much, much more than merry friendship. I don't think my company is worth very much. It is definitely not a proper exchange for all this food. This is so much better than eating an instant noodles at home alone in my crummy apartment. Sure is though, which is actually accurate. But anyways everyone, that is the end of today's video. So thank you guys for watching this video today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out my social media and Discord server as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.